Students, hello, it's your instructor John Mandiola with another screencast. This one looking at, well, to me, about Impressionism and the artwork from that period. So, to really kick off what Impressionism is, we have to look at what Impressionism isn't. And so what came before Impressionism was very classic art. So, you can take a look at this picture this painting, and you can see that this is done very classically. Every detail, every nook and cranny is carefully considered. Every fold, every wrinkle, every shadow, every highlight, everything is very smooth as well. There are hard lines, right, that define things like the mouth and the eyes, the necklace, the fingers, things like that, and then there are very soft lines. You know, the folds here, the shading on the ermine, and in the robe here. Look at the subtle shading in her hair that goes to the black of the background and the hard, crisp lines around the hairline. So this is classic painting, right? A lot of staining and glazing, so thin applications of color over a long period of time. They slowly build up to create the colors that the artist wants. This is another example. This one's a little bit zoomed in, but anyway, you can see, again, the careful, delicate work. Look at the thin line work there, and that just carries over into here, the definition around the face area and the hair. Everything is very carefully considered. I mean, even things in the background have a high amount of detail, as you can see. And this is what classic work was. Now, if we move on to Impressionism, it wasn't about these exalted figures in these pristine, very manufactured environments. It was about life as the artist saw it, day to day, and they wanted to paint that and depict it through, first, understanding how light works and how that affects color, or at least how we perceive color with our eyes, and then painting that as the focus point. And the subject matter isn't irrelevant, but it's a much less important thing than the light and the colors created by the light or lack of light. So if we move on here, you can see here, it's, you know, you can imagine this in your real life. You know, it's on a pontoon or a small cruise. It's got the greenery of the trees. Maybe the light is a little bit lower. It's late afternoon. And you can see that the water, what we normally think of as being blue or green, is now very dark in some spots and very bright in other spots. It has everything to do with how light affects everything. So Impressionism, as your book states, in chapter 8, which I encourage you to read, talks about this was the first modern art movement, as it were. Okay, this is the one that influenced so many things. And you see that there's not a ton of detail in the eyes and the face and all that. It's about the light and the color. Here's another one. We can tell it's some kind of city back there, and there's a bridge here, but the attention obviously is paid to how the light is affecting the color and the imagery. So it's maybe a cloudy day or slightly cloudy, and the sun is poking through things like that, and it's affecting how everything looks. Here again, very bright day, high noon. I mean, everything's really bright white. Could be cloudy, but it's, you know, the light is very high in the sky. Notice all the attention paid to how that's interacting with the water, the sky, what's going on here, and the people are just kind of, there. They're ancillary to the beauty of this painting. This is the Van Gogh. And again, so it's light here. We can tell that because of the light yellow. It's shining from the restaurant here, but back here, as you get deeper and deeper into the back, you see the kind of the blacks and the blues start to emerge, and it gives a real sense of depth. And there's a beauty in this, though. It's like if I paint the light and how the color reacts to it, I'll end up with a great painting. This is another Van Gogh. You can see that, you know, it's shadow. Okay, why don't just use black and paint that in for the shadow? It's a build-up of colors and tones, somewhat like staining and glazing, but instead of thin layers of paint, it's thick, heavy layers of paint with very seemingly gratuitous stroke work done to make the painting. It's very thick. And the emphasis again is on color and light. And here again, you can see the main inspiration for this piece is the light, how it reacts around the haystack and the field around it. So, Impressionism.